Hello everyone, Benevolent History here, and I'm giving you a live commentary battle on the grassy flatlands. I command Gaul, and my opponent, Lionheart of the PARSA clan, is commanding the Germanians. Now this was an interesting battle because even though Gaul is a very bad faction, I kind of want to play them anyway. It's kind of fun sometimes when you play a pretty weak faction like Gaul. And right now I'm going to try a new strategy of basically bringing a lot of massed infantry essentially, so I can easily outflank my enemy. Obviously the weakness of this strategy is the fact that I'll have no missile troops whatsoever, and so unfortunately for me, my opponent brought 6 chosen archer warbands you saw there. He also brought about 5 or 6 units of chosen axemen, 2 units of knight raiders, and 3 units of spear warbands. His cavalry component is 4 units of gothic cav, and against my barbarian noble cav, it's somewhat of an even fight, though I would say that he would have the advantage in cav because gothic cav really much better than barbarian noble cav. Now you can see here that I'm sending all my infantry units. I'm heavily flanking his left body essentially, and the weakness of my strategy here is the fact that he could easily shift his troops to face mine essentially. However, my opponent is not doing that. I mean, if he's able to shift his troops to face mine, then my flanking will probably be useless because it's very difficult to flank with only infantry. You can see here that instead he's throwing 3 chosen axemen out, probably in a to collapse his flank essentially. So I'm going to send my swordsman up and engage his chosen axemen just to keep him in place. At the same time, I'm going to send my cavalry units out in order to destroy his. Now I know he has only 3 cav units here, and I have 6, so I should be able to win that fight, even though his gothic cav is numerically superior to mine. However, the bad thing is I managed to rout 1 of his gothic cav, but however he sends more infantry reinforcements out to reinforce his own cav, so I'm forced to pull back my gothic cav. I mean my barbarian noble cav, or my cav will get essentially disintegrated. On my left flank I'm having a bit of trouble here because my swordsmen are routing very badly. Anyway, you can see here that my opponent has made a huge mistake. He's not taking advantage of his full army, and I managed to kill his general. He's not taking advantage of his full army, and all his forces that he committed to the left flank are now routing. If he was able to commit his center forces or his right flank forces out to attack my forces, he'd probably be able to win essentially, because he has much better troops than mine. I mean, Germania is a better faction than Gaul in basically every department. Now, because my opponent didn't effectively reinforce all of his forces on the left flank, he basically lost the battle because I was able to overwhelm a part of his force first, and thus I'm able to outnumber the rest of his troops in the end game. Now, my opponent, I suggest he works more on micromanagement skills, and the fact that if he's gonna bring that many infantry troops, he should be able to individually choose which troops should be where when he wants them to be. Essentially, he needs to be able to control all of his troops at once, and he needs to be able to effectively react to any flanking maneuvers and stuff. Because if your opponent's just gonna go heavy flank like what I did there, it's probably best to just merely turn your army around and face him. It's just like Napoleon Total War or Empire Total War, in the fact that flanking with your infantry body alone is very difficult to do if your opponent effectively collapses his flanks. Anyway, you can see that my forces are basically mopping his up now and destroying any remnant units that are coming back from routing. And then you can see here a barbarian peasant is routing a spear warband unit. You don't see that every day, because barbarian peasants or any other peasants really suck at the game. And to be honest, I can't believe my peasants are still alive. I mean, usually they're like one of the first units to die off. Anyway, good game to my opponent, PARSA Lionheart. He wasn't a bad player, except that he needs to be able to better micromanage his troops and be able to better react to any flanking maneuvers that your opponent does to him. Anyway, good game to my opponent, PARSA Lionheart. Thanks for watching.